What's up, guys? Remember to subscribe. Today we're going to talk about what kind of genre is the best to stick to when it comes to Lmms, which kind of genre gives you the best quality. And yeah, I think the most important thing is that stick with a genre that you really like listening to. So if you like listening to, for example, future bass, then you should be trying to make future bass, because since you're listening a lot to future bass, you will be able to understand how the bass line is, how the build-up is, how the drop is, stuff like that. It same goes for all the other genre. So the first thing you want to try is sticking with something that you like, because otherwise you're not gonna have it, no motivation for it. Like me, I like listening to trap music. If I was going to make rock music, I would be so demotivated and I wouldn't put so much effort in it, and the learning process would have been bigger. So now we're just going to talk about these genres that I've tried. When I first started making music, I started with dubstep, and I think I tried it for like a month, and my development was really big, but there were certain instruments that I was not able to get. I watched tutorials on YouTube, all the tutorials and stuff like that, but there was still no main lead that sounded like real dubstep that I was able to get. So if you're going to work with dubstep, you should be good at engineering, which means like adjusting the settings on your instruments to get the right sound. If you're not able to do that, I recommend you not to choose dubstep. And you should also know a lot about automation and stuff like that, like getting that roll. And yeah, and after like 1 month I started with EDM because I liked that too and felt like maybe that would be easier. And EDM is a good genre for Lmms. I learned how to make build-ups, make drops, a lot of things in this process right here. But I still felt like there were no lead that was actually sounding good. Like even when you make an EDM track, and when you go back, when I'm listening to my tracks back now, I feel like it was not so professional compared to the real professional artists out there. And so I think that, and I also listen to people who make EDM on YouTube, on the Lmms sharing platform, and there was something with the leads that Lmms has to offer that really just doesn't sound that good. Even through the melodies and the potential is very good with those tracks, you're still not gonna get that high quality stuff that that's gonna be good. And then we have future bass. I tried this just a little bit here, and I just tried this a little bit, not so much, but what I found out is that when it comes to future bass, which is really similar to EDM, is that it's really hard to get the leads for the drop. I've seen some tutorials there, and I feel like those kind of leads that they are showing is not the same quality leads that you hear in music normally. So it's really hard to get that kind of leads unless you are good at engineering and getting a lead to sound the way you want. So if you're not good at that, then I suggest you don't stick with future bass. And the other thing about future bass, EDM, and dubstep is that the instrument you kind of have to adjust the settings and get the sound you want for, and use a lot of time to get that sound. And once you've done that, you kind of can only use it for like one track. For the next track, you gotta make a whole new instrument and adjusting the sound and blah blah blah. It's a long process for every track. So yeah, unless you are willing to do that, then don't stick with that. Then I tried reggae, and I felt like this was really good because it only needs like a pluck and tom mid, and you don't have to, it doesn't have to be so complicated. And yeah, I felt like that track was really good, but I was not so interested in that genre, so I stopped. And when it comes to like trap beats, drill beats, hip hop beats, rap beats, I think it's the best genre to stick to because all you need is a piano, and you can use that piano in all the tracks. You only need a string as well if you want to, and an 808. There is few instruments you need, and with these instruments you can make a real banger. There is less mixing, while EDM dubstep requires more mixing. You need more instruments overlapping each other, and that sometimes ruins the song in EDM. While on trap we don't do that. And one benefit with, for example, trap or drill or hip hop beats is that people can actually kind of rap over it without having no problem. While future bass, EDM and dubstep often have a build-up, and the build-up is really like and it's really hard for a singer to sing over it unless it's done in a record label, or unless you are signed. So yeah, this is just my top 5. What I mean like trap is the best, or drill or hip hop is the best thing to stick to because people can sing about it, and you can also use the same instruments in all the track. It's okay. You don't have to be unique as long as the melodies and 808 pattern and stuff like that is unique. Then you should stick to reggae because it's like the same as trap. You can use the same instruments, it's fine. And then I think future bass should change because future bass is very. Then I think you should stick with EDM because EDM is like, it can sound good, but it's very hard to sound like high quality shit. And the second last is future bass. This one is really hard to get the instruments to sound the way you want it, the way professionals do it. And the last one I think is dubstep because there is so much equalization and adjustment that you need to do, and if you don't know that, you will not develop. So if you want fast development, good development, choose one of these 3 or this. If you want kind of slow increasement in your skills, then you should probably choose future bass or dubstep because it's going to be very slow. And EDM is something like, I think EDM is something you can choose also as well with these 3. So I will say these 3 are like, I recommend one of these 3, but I do not recommend the 2 first here. Okay, see ya, subscribe.